So how are you?
I'm fine and excited, sir.
You had your lunch or
No, sir, I did not have.
this is the first mock interview or
Sir, I gave my interview in 2019 CAC.
yeah,
So regarding mock, sir, I gave an online interview.
This
before
year?
Yes, sir.
mock interview? Which institute?
I gave in Civils Guru recently.
Civils. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when is your this thing personality test?
22nd April.
This month itself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you have under 15 days time.
Yes, sir.
So and you're thinking of having doing some more mock interviews in Delhi?
Sir, I haven't scheduled my plan to Delhi yet.
Mhm.
So that is. I have
You're
to decide.
staying in Hyderabad.
Yes, sir. I stay in Hyderabad.
So what is your father?
My father is a retired businessman.
Retired businessman. How many siblings you are having?
I have a elder brother. He's doing his medicine in USA.
Hello. Sorry if I could not see your name. What's your name?
Akshay Deepak, sir.
Akshay Deepak. So how's your day?
It was fine, sir. I woke up early today
Mhm.
and gave a online mock interview, and like this I came right here.
Okay, fine. So when do you think a businessman should retire?
Sir, I don't think it is up to a general age, but depends on an individual based on his requirements. Maybe if he has to support a particular family, maybe there's a greater age for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the considerations based on other things which I can think of are his aspirations. If he
Mhm.
really wants to grow in life, wanted engagement and expansion. So these are some other factors.
Mm-hmm. I believe you are a student of anthropology, right?
Yes, sir.
You heard about engagement theory in context of aging theories?
Yes, sir. So in the context of aging theories, I think there is wear and tear of particular organs in the body.
No, there are psychological theories, right? You heard about psychological theories? Psychological theories of aging?
Sir, I need to look into the. It's been a while since I have referred to that.
Okay. So let me tell it. Say psychological theories of aging says that
Yes.
the more we are engaged, with the surroundings, we tend to age late. I mean,
Yes, sir.
aging slows down. So why don't you think you should have suggested your father to remain in the business?
Sir, one of the first thing consideration was my brother was supporting the family, so and hence also my father's health was not so doing well,
Mhm.
and that was a major reason why he decided to opt for retirement.
Okay, I could see you're from IIT Kharagpur, right?
Yes, sir.
So can you explain me in layman term, like what is this ocean engineering? What actually ocean engineers do?
Sir, it is one of the first departments to start in IIT Kharagpur, and it basically deals with the hydrostatic and the hydrodynamic calculations involved in shipbuilding and ship designing, sir.
So what is that hydrostatic, hydrodynamic?
Sir, hydrostatic calculations basically take into consideration the stability of a particular vessel, where we are considering some of the technology in terms of metacentric height. Then we take the hydrostatic pressure which is being exerted on the ship, and based on that we come to our design of the model, sir.
Model? Design of?
The ship model.
Okay. So do you think a layman would have understood what you have said?
Sir, to keep it in layman terms, I would say that based on some interaction of the water with the vessel in the shores, we perform some calculations and finally come out with the design.
Design of the ship.
Yes, sir.
Achha, design of the ship varies, by the quality of the water. What do you call it? Like by the way the water is at different places, or how is it?
Yes, sir. For example, if the ship is traveling through routes where there is icebergs or where there is a kind of a sea ice layer, so it depends. The hull is given more of a double hull. More protection is given, and you have instruments in the front which can break the ice.
Hmm.
So the design keeps on varying according to the requirement as well as the area where it is operating.
Mm-hmm. So all the vessels which originate in India, do they have similar design, or design keeps varying?
So the design keeps varying based on the cargo or the type of requirement of the owner. For example, we have the bulk carriers,
Uh-huh.
then we have the oil cargo or terminals which are there, and oil vessels which are taken into consideration.
Okay. So ocean engineering and naval architecture both seem similar. Then why they have to give two separate names, ocean engineering?
Sir, In ocean engineering, basically, we also deal with the coastal engineering structures which are there. And
Acha, all this time you explained me naval architecture.
Yes, sir. Like they both are very interrelated in the sense that in ocean engineering we perform these calculations. Like we take a potential flow of a liquid into consideration, and then base our the hydrodynamic calculations in such that which facilitate the interaction of the water with the vessel. And then that is the ocean engineering part.
And you said something about coastal.
Yes, sir.
What is
So,
that?
In coastal engineering structures, sir, we deal with the different kinds of breakwaters which we can install around the shores, which can prevent wave action from taking into consideration. Apart from this, sir, also I did a project in the renewable energy sector where we harness the ocean waves in order to generate energy.
Okay, so these ocean engineers are also have something to do with the energy sciences. That's what you're
Yes,
trying to
sir.
say?
It's actually a very multidiscipline area and area of study where we also take into consideration the energy aspect.
Acha, okay, interesting. So see, when it comes to production of or design of indigenous warships or nuclear submarines, aircraft carriers, we are lagging behind. Do you agree with me?
Certainly,
Why?
sir.
Why this is so? And young people like you wanted to prepare for civil services.
Yes, sir. I think we are lagging in terms of in comparison to countries like USA and China or Russia, but we are really working in that front with the government coming in with schemes such as the Sagarmala scheme and the Atmanirbhar Bharat to boost the indigenous.
Sagarmala, has it got anything to do with any indigenous technology?
Sir, it basically tries to reform the port functioning too. So this
No, I am asking, is it anything to do with indigenous warships or nuclear submarines or?
No, sir, certainly not. Like Sagarmala has.
So what are we doing like for indigenization of these technologies?
We have basically come up with Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme where the government is boosting.
Atmanirbhar Bharat has come in the context of COVID.
Yes, sir.
I am asking what we are doing for so long, 70 years
Yes,
of
sir.
independence.
So we have been boosting again the indigenous production through projects like aircraft carriers. Then we have built our own submarine, that is nuclear submarines which are there, and a lot of frigates, destroyers and corvettes are being added to our navy arsenal. So these projects, some of the projects to mention here are Project 75 and Project 15A2.
What is that? Project 15A2?
I mean Project 15B 2 TOO.
What is that?
The 2 is just the adjective, sir.
It is
the
related
project
to?
is the Project 15B.
It is related to?
It is related to like building guided missile destroyers in boosting our naval capability.
What is 75?
75 is basically building diesel electric submarines.
Sure.
Yes, sir. So through air independent propulsion systems.
Achha, what is the name of the project which builds nuclear submarines?
Yes, sir. I need to refer into it, sir, but I know that there's a vessel called INS Arihant which has been built, which is nuclear powered.
Completely indigenous?
I need to refer into the details. Most of it is, I think, indigenous, sir. Yes, as far as I recollect. I'll definitely go back and look into it.
Okay. So do you think India will get back the glory of, naval powerhouse of the world we used to be? That's what we read in our histories, right? Can we really go back to that phase again?
Certainly, sir, I think because in spite of all these developmental challenges, we have minimal resources. Still, India is almost ranking in top of the naval power and naval capacity we have. So we can certainly, in course of time, with increased defense spending, and we can certainly reach the global stage.
So we want to enhance defense spending. Are you sure?
Sir, there is already good amount of defense spending, but to compensate that, we need a lot of private investment in this area. Where, for example, I would like to take the example of USA, where there is a lot of private sector involvement in defense production here. So this can really boost our capability in this regard.
I'm sure you would have followed updates on Russia-Ukraine war crisis,
Yes,
in it, and hope you have heard about Yuval Noah Harari.
Yes, sir.
He's an historian, right?
Yes, sir.
So he's of the opinion that in the aftermath of the war, or because of the war, most of the world countries have escalated their defense budgets. So how do you see this trend?
Certainly, sir, because we've seen in immediate instances where Germany has increased its defense spending. Even in the recent budget for India too, we have also increased our spending. This is only in order to safeguard a particular nation's security and its territorial integrity. Because the global situation is becoming uncertain as each day passes, there are alliances being formed, and because of this, it is very important that we protect our citizens.
You don't see any negative trend here? It's all positive?
No, sir. There is a negative. It is very unfortunate incident which is happening here, that we are spending more on the defense aspect and on the defense budget rather than a few of the developmental challenges like combating global hunger, which is there among many of the African nations. Also, like combating the challenges like education, health, which are not adequately funded in India too.
Okay, interesting. So do you think we are, as a humans, are we still evolving, Akshay? Are we still evolving?
Yes, sir. I think the evolution is an ongoing process always, and it depends on the nature and the particular characteristics which humans have, and which will lead to natural selection, and finally the evolution.
So we are still evolving.
Yes, sir. With increasing evidences of climate change and the uncertainty surrounding that too. So evolution.
Any evidences we have that we humans are still evolving?
Sir, I was reading one of the article here in this regard regarding the brain size, but it is very debatable yet, because there is instances where brain size has been decreasing because right now in these days we have decentralized management of information here. So people are not focusing much on the facts.
So people are not using brains.
Not they are certainly using brains in other aspects, but they are maybe not putting much effort on the fact remembering part. Where you have storages devices like hard disks and all. So, but this is very debatable. We cannot give a blanket conclusion in this regard.
Okay. What is the difference between microevolution and macroevolution?
Sir, microevolution is below the level of at the level of species or below it, whereas macro is at a greater level, sir. And there are more number of mutations which are taking place at a larger scale in macroevolution, which leads to adaptation of a particular community to a particular species, which to a particular other line of species where they are formed.
Okay, can you repeat it again?
Yes, sir. In macroevolution, it is above the level of species, and they diverge into formation of different kind of species based on their adaptation capabilities. For example, sir, we have the Simoria reptiles which are there. So there was macro adaptation in these cases, and which led to them moving to different parts. For example, one went to the ocean and the other went to the land. The other was burrowing inside the land, inside the earth. These are some.
Okay, interesting. So what is postmodernist trend?
Sir, in postmodernism, I think it's basically against the science, which is using, which was always telling that there is subjectivity involved even in the ethnographic studies of different tribal communities. For example, sir, if we study a particular community, it depends on what kind of individuals we are studying there, whether it is the marginalized man or the people who are very well off in the society. So it gives a kind of a bias in the study and the portrayal of the study to humankind.
Okay, so in the context of postmodernism again, so what is the correlation between power and knowledge?
Sir, I think it says that people in power have greater access to knowledge, and it's also there are chances that knowledge can be misinterpreted by a lot of section of people.
Any example you can cite for this?
Sir, example I'm not aware of it, sorry.
You can reflect a little bit and
sorry, sir, I need to look into it.
okay, no problem. You heard about this agency versus structure debate?
No, sir, I'm so sorry.
What is a social structure?
Sir, a particular social structure is very diverse of different communities. It consists of institutions such as marriage, family, kinship, economic, political and religious organizations. And
what you are telling is social institutions. My question is, what is a social structure?
So, sir, basically, I can consider these institutions to be a part of a particular social structure, and there is interaction between all these parts which facilitate social structure. For example, sir, here I would like to take the example of marriage. So, marriage as an institution will facilitate, we take care of our family members, and there is more cooperation, and which will build on the social structure of the.
So, what is individual agency?
I'm so sorry, sir. I have to.
Agency of an individual.
I have to look into it, sir. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Let's say if you have to analyze the hijab debate
Yes,
in the context of social structure, how do you see it?
Sir, I think the hijab was considered by the Supreme Court as not an essential practice of religion. So it considered the various social structure aspects in the form that it referred to various religious texts which are very essential part of the social structure of the Muslim community, and based on it, it gives it a decision that it is not an essential practice.
No, I'm okay. Okay, fine. So, what is developmental anthropology?
Sir, developmental anthropology basically focuses on ensuring that there is equitable distribution of resources among every community.
Is it? Sure, guessing.
I think, sir, and ensures that.
What is the criticism on the developmental anthropology?
Sir, criticism I need to look into it, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine. So, what is folk taxonomy in the context of cognitive anthropology?
Sorry, sir, I couldn't hear.
Folk taxonomy. Taxonomy means classification, right? So, what is folk classification or folk taxonomy in the context of cognitive anthropology?
Sir, there is a particular division existing, like folk urban continuity and different kinds of. Suppose we take the folk taxonomy, it basically refers to the local context and the local culture of a particular society.
You guessing? Are you confident? Are you guessing?
Because folk has a very touch.
No, my question is folk taxonomy, folk classification.
I need to look into it then. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. So, what is scientific racism?
Sir, there is a, if I can, in my limited knowledge, sir, if I take an understanding of this, scientific racism is basically using so and so facts which is collected, and at a mindset level there is a kind of bias involved in this.
Any example you can cite?
Maybe once if a particular scientist who is working on a project, if he gathers particular data.
What is social Darwinism?
Sorry, sir?
Social Darwinism.
I need to look into it, sir. Sorry.
No problem, no problem. Thank you. Sir, over to you, sir.
So what are there any hobbies now as far as you are concerned?
Sir, I play and watch football and sing Bollywood songs.
Football, like what is the major tournaments which are now going on now today?
Sir, recently Indian Super League was concluded, and secondly we have the English Premier League which is going on, and also the Champions League. And
So that's why the saying is that after IPL has come, now other leagues also have come. Okay, Indian Football League, Indian Hockey League, then Indian Kabaddi League. Okay, so do you mean to say that actually having players from outside the country will enhance the quality and also the robustness of the players?
certainly, sir, having players from outside will give that competitive environment, and also will bring best talent from outside. Apart from that, sir, it will also facilitate good scouting mechanisms as in the West, and also bring in the managerial talent which is required, the coaches and also the environment.
Yeah, you mean to say that because can India reach the qualifying stage in World Cup football? Because that is a dream, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Can we?
Sir, next year I think the next FIFA World Cup is going to take in 48 countries, and right now India is ranking 104th. So we can definitely improve on this regard, and we can definitely reach the stages, sir.
So that way you mean to say that having foreign players will improve. That now okay, the going among growing actually international order, what are the major issues or between various countries? And, just highlight one or two issues pertaining to various countries.
Various countries
In regard to actually differences, bilateral relationship, then differences.
Sir, in football or in the
No,
international?
in international affairs.
Okay, sir. So in the international affairs, the basically, if I have to highlight first,
Say for example, simple example, Sri Lankan crisis, okay,
Yes, sir.
role of China, okay,
yes, sir.
the Ukraine crisis,
Yes, sir.
okay, so
So
the Afghan crisis, okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
So, firstly, sir, it is a long-standing debate in a multipolar world. There is differences in the kind of the Western alliances versus the Russia, which is taking place. So, there is a lot of hostility existing among them. And secondly, sir, if we come to the Afghanistan area, so there is a lot of involvement of many other countries. But on the other hand, for example, China has kept India away from the negotiations between the trilateral countries which are conducting their
I have heard about string of pearls.
Yes, sir.
So what is it? What is the strategic importance of that?
Sir, string of pearls is a policy by China which is trying to encircle India through a number of different naval bases, and that is the major strategic significance. Other strategic significances are that it tries to ensure its presence in the Indian Ocean region, which is where it's trying to pursue a very aggressive foreign policy in that regard.
I have heard about Malabar exercise.
Yes, sir.
So what is it? What is the significance of that?
Sir, in Malabar exercise, basically we exchange and we coordinate the intelligence services. We conduct military exercises, the naval exercises together, which basically ensures coordination and cooperation among the countries, sir.
So what actually being an I-10, what is the prime actually focus on IITians now? But there is an argument that most of the IITians actually on government subsidy, they study in a premier institute,
Yes, sir.
and then they migrate or immigrate outside, okay, they become immigrants. So there's a lot of brain drain, okay. So do you subscribe to that philosophy that there's a lot of brain drain among the IITians?
Certainly, sir, to an extent, there is a lot of brain drain with other countries having better standard of living and more remunerative pay. But I think India.
But that ecosystem has to build here, isn't it,
Yes,
in the
sir,
country?
certainly. So India is also in its phase of demographic dividend. So it has to utilize this opportunity and ensure that we prevent brain drain from happening by boosting our economy, having a more startup culture in India, as well as ensuring that we have ease of doing business and the particular infrastructure which is there.
So, after the new government has come, they say that ease of doing business ranking India is actually in the entire list. It is in the echelon. It is increased a lot.
Yes, sir.
What are the policy initiatives taken by the government?
Yes, sir. Sir, in ease of doing business, we certainly improved a lot. For example, sir, the policy initiatives which we have taken are like having the Startup India scheme, ensuring that we have faster clearances in the form of Parivesh platform which is there, and then having transparency and accountability in government operations through Pragati platform. And thirdly, sir, also we are trying to ensure that the construction permits which are required, the access to credit which are there, these problems are being solved. One area where we are really lacking is on the enforcement of contracts. So this area is being looked into, sir.
I have heard about this NSE scam, National Stock Exchange scam.
Yes, sir.
It's been it's been highlighted. What is actually the major observation of the panel which has gone into it's under CBI inquiry?
Sir, some of the major observation was regarding the co-location service which was being offered. That is one, and secondly, sir, also related to the managerial level, where there was influence of a particular unknown person on the
Yogi.
on the high level leadership.
So is it a failure of corporate governance?
So to an extent, we can say that such morals were lacking at the high level leadership, but we were also gaining on this front that there were proper investigation done through involvement of neutral players like Ernst and Young, and bringing the matter to the forefront.
So what steps should be, because now because this has shaken the especially the ordinary investors' confidence. They think that only big players are they're tinkering with the systems technology, and then they're getting the benefits and the bounties. So so what actually steps should be taken to improve? Because we talk about e-governance, we talk about government governance, good governance, but so there has to be some responsibility even in the corporate sector. So what steps you suggest to improve the level of corporate governance?
Sir, in this regard, I think it is very important that the board of directors is very representative in this regard.
Especially independent directors.
Yes, sir. Especially we have the independent directors as well as maybe representation of one woman, which was also suggested by some of the committee. And secondly, sir, ensuring that there is a proper auditing mechanism at very regular intervals. And thirdly, sir, involvement of the stakeholders or the shareholders of a particular company, so that they can raise their grievances and ensure proper accountability of the institution.
Then do you think that GST implementation, which was initially opposed by various states, talking about the federal actually freedom which is there, so after 3 to 4 years of implementation, they had some teething problems regarding technology, especially the computer technology. So how do you think whether the establishment of GST network, whether it is on a positive note or a negative note?
Sir, I think GST is a very good initiative in this regard of unifying the whole country and ensure seamless borders. But there have been also some glitches in the form that the applications or there was lapse in the technological capabilities of the.
But they are given it to one Infosys. They are given the entire technology component to Infosys, supposed to be one of the blue chip companies, isn't it?
Sir, initially in this regard, in the implementation, we faced a lot of challenges. But right now we have improved a lot, and in recently highlighted report that GST collections have almost risen than the previous month, and we have reached our target.
Well, there is a lot of hue and cry that for petroleum and petroleum products also GST has to be introduced or implemented. So do you buy the argument?
Sir, maybe in the long run it can be done, it has to be done in the long run, so that every commodity is under a particular structure. But sir, in the short run, because of lack of resources with the state too, and there's a lot of revenue which the state can earn in so and so commodities, it is very essential that we can keep it in the short term and have a higher prices.
Mr. Akshay, why IIT Kharagpur and why ocean engineering?
Sir, initially actually my mother was a lecturer who was teaching 11th and 12th students to IIT background, like who wanted to get into the IIT. That was one of the major reasons that where I was exposed more to the technical aspects of that. And secondly, sir, after entering into the IIT, I had a very broad perspective, and I got an international exposure in this regard. It built a lot of my personality too. I got exposed to one of the best talents of the country, and this was the reason, like also which motivated me to get into the IIT. And apart from this, sir, at my time, the ocean engineering and naval architecture is such an interesting subject. So I consulted my seniors, and they were very bright prospects for such a career too. So and hence I chose this.
So what is the difference between ocean engineering and marine engineering?
Sir, exactly I need to look into it, sir. I'm so sorry.
Okay. So you were talking about the brain drain and all. So our country has very less experts in the field of ocean engineering like you. And why can't I see this as a brain drain? you getting into civil services? How should I look into it? How should the country look into it?
Sir, definitely my technical knowledge would be very helpful again in implementing schemes like Sagarmala, Bharatmala, and there is a separate Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. So it would be like a dream come true for me to work in this sector, sir.
But it is not your first option.
Which one, sir?
IAS is your first option, right?
Yes, sir.
How come you get into Ministry of Ports?
Like because IAS is offering a very multi-dimensional and a multi-sectorial role, so I'm expecting there can be interdepartmental transfers. And
So why not a lateral entry of experts through?
Certainly, sir, lateral entry is a very good option in this regard, but I chose civil services because it again, for example, it gives me a very multi-dimensional. If I'm not a doctor, I can work in the medical field. So this really motivated me for a career in civil services too.
Tell me about the biggest naval challenge China is facing currently.
Yes, sir. I think it is related to institutions such as AUKUS or the Quad, where China is having serious apprehensions regarding these.
What is Malacca Strait dilemma?
Sir, I don't know about the dilemma about Malacca Strait, sir, but it is a very choke point where a lot of trade and the goods pass through it.
China actually can be choked there, no?
Yes, sir, certainly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me about recently the government tried to raise the age of marriage, you know?
Yes, sir.
As a student of anthropology, how do you look at it?
Sir, as a student of anthropology, certainly it gives a very positive look in this direction and in ensuring gender equality, ensuring that women have access to education, they are having this financial empowerment. So it is a very good step in the right direction, sir.
Okay. Any, if I ask you to look at it from the other side,
Yes, sir.
what logic will you give?
Sir, looking at the other side, I think it is very important that an individual has a freedom to choose when or him or her wants to get married. So if a girl wants to get married at 18 or 19, she should be given ample freedom in order to choose. This is the other side which I can look at.
Okay. What is the role of religion in our day-to-day life?
Sir, religion is one
Is
of...
it more constructive or more destructive? Or what is your opinion?
Sir, I would frankly base my opinion that it depends on an individual how he takes religion. For me, sir, it is very comforting. I find a lot of peace. So whenever I'm stressed, so I just go to a temple and sit there. So I really like that environment in that regard. And also it helps me control my ego, ensure that I have a particular social responsibility towards my parents too, and also towards the society at a larger scale.
Can you give an example of any one anthropological theory on religion? Or tell me about Marx's view on religion.
Sir, so I think Karl Marx says that religion is the opium of the masses. So,
Okay. What does he mean by that?
sir, it says that so religion can be used as a tool which can also like ensure radicalization of the society, promote communal disharmony. So these are the things, sir.
Okay. What does he mean by religion being the opium? Opium is something intoxicating.
Yes, sir.
Ah.
So maybe that the person is not in his senses when he performed his action, but exactly in details I need to look into it, sir.
Okay. Okay. Digressing a little bit, some weeks back or months back, central government took a decision to expand the jurisdiction of BSF, I think, from 15 kilometer to 50 kilometer. You know? It was opposed by some states, right? On what basis, what could have been the reason for center doing this, and on what basis the states were opposing it?
I'm so sorry, sir. I'm not aware it. I need to look into the details.
Federalism, no. What are the challenges to federalism at present?
taking over the powers of each other, or digressing into the powers. For
Yeah, that is meaning. Okay,
Yes.
meaning of federalism. What are the challenges to federalism, federal structure in India at present?
Sir, one of the conflicts, like we have challenges in the form of political challenges, then we have financial challenges which are taking place. I would like to give the example of maybe cess and surcharge, which is being charged by the center on some of the state
Yeah.
lists.
Yeah.
So this is very leading to this is not leading to cooperative federalism, and ensuring this is leading to hostility between the center and the state.
Okay. What is the role of CBI in this? CBI and other central agencies. Do you think they are being misused and they are posing a challenge to federalism in India?
Sir, there is a lot of saying that even the Supreme Court has said that CBI is a caged parrot in this regard. So it is important that we ensure neutrality in administration in these higher organizations, and a proper.
Do you agree that they are being misused?
Sir, there are some safeguards in this regard, that there is a search and selection committee in order to appoint the high level leadership, but this is again being appointed by this search and selection committee is again being suggested by the center. So in this regard there is a kind of a neutrality which is being hampered.
Okay. Day before yesterday or something, Supreme Court said that the central agencies, CBI and SFIOs,
Yes, sir.
they need an overarching body to
Yes, sir.
regulate them. Okay. Why there is a need to regulate these bodies at the first place?
Sir, it is important that we regulate these bodies because they are having a very multidimensional role, in that they are having their jurisdiction all over India in different states too, and they are dealing with matters which is very sensitive and involving public interest, and hence a regulation in this regard is very essential. Apart from this, sir, having a national body with proper delineation of its roles will ensure that the states are also taken into consideration, their views are taken into consideration, and which will not lead to hostility and will
Hostility?
hostility among the states as well as these institutions,
Okay.
and ensure proper functioning of them.
Okay, right. Every time there are elections in India, state elections, some parties will be there who will say that the elections have not been free and fair.
Yes, sir.
Can you suggest some ways, one technology which can be used to make the elections foolproof? Nobody can complain that elections are not fair. Any one technology?
Sir, in this regard, I think the present technology is very fair, because the EVMs which are there are programmed in such a way that they cannot be manipulated.
Yeah.
So this is I cannot recall of any particular technology as of now.
No, they started now, isn't it? VVPATs,
Yes, sir.
voter verifiable, okay. VVPATs have come, isn't it? So the technology, they are now connected with the EVMs.
Yes, sir. VVPAT.
So now actually the election commission has made it mandatory for every election to have a VVPAT for every polling booth.
Sir, but any apart from VVPAT, any new technology I'm not aware.
Technology, by and large, as you say, the technology, there is a challenge.
Yes,
It is
sir.
proved by the election commission, and they said that EVMs were tampered in Madhya Pradesh. So then they posed an open challenge, and then EVMs said that anybody can hack. They said that then the ECI actually has passed this test, and then report was sent to Supreme Court, they have accepted it. So, but in future, because there is a debate, because now some of the states, they lose, okay, some of the parties will lose in a state, they say that they are being tampered, okay, if they are managed, they are replaced, but can it be done?
I think if there is an allegation that EVMs are tampered, initially the Election Commission of India conducts a particular trials where it has proved that EVMs cannot be.
It's called actually 3-level checks.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I was
sir.
election observer
Yes, sir.
almost 20 times in the country.
Yes, sir.
So I've seen most of the states because I had actually challenged many of the party members in front of them. It's 3-level randomization.
Yes, sir.
So
True.
normally, so it's not at all possible.
possible.
Okay, and it is done by the district magistrate, which is the district election officer. First, actually, they randomize the entire because it's a EEPROM actually network. Okay, erasable. Okay, read-only memory. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so it's a programmable. So what they do is they erase the data and then in front of them it is checked the parties. That is first level check.
Okay, sir.
Second is then the randomization process. The EVMs are allotted to different constituencies. That is second level check.
Yes, sir.
Then within the constituency, assembly constituency, again they randomize in such that nobody knows which EVM, which balloting unit and which control unit which goes to the polling station. So 3-level checks it is done, and that is one thing. Then what happens is polling takes place. You have a agent. So
Yes,
and then you have a beep sound. Then we have VVPAT, okay, which is connected there. Then after the election is over, they give what is called a ballot paper account. Then one copy is given to the agents, and then during counting they are opened in front of them, and then they're shown the numbers, and then for each round they sign. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what happens? So the checks and balances are there in the entire electoral system. This is one of the most foolproof. In fact, actually, if you look at America, because they have multiple systems, they have actually, you can vote through computers, you can vote physically, you can vote before the elections.
Yes, sir.
So what happens because of that, there were occasions where they could not completely count all the votes. So there are states that it took last election 1 month to complete the election process. Here the entire counting is over in half a day or 1 day, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So the entire, so now many countries are trying to adopt because it has been proved. And the only thing is that technology per se, it is not random access. It is a read-only, just like a calculator. Just a calculator. You erase the memory and then you have it. And then once it is fixed, you should be able to, because there are a lot of allegations now. You had 5 elections now, 5 states. So normally the trend is the losing party will say party if he wins, they say no, acha hua, everything is fine, okay. ठीक है सब ठीक है. So everywhere it is same thing. So they call chapa marna, okay. They rig the polling booth, okay. I've seen in some places in front of me they have actually broken the EVMs.
Okay.
Like Bihar, they just they came, they booth captured, they broke with guns, they came, but after Nitish has come, the situation has improved. Now every polling booth has CPMF, okay? So it's very difficult. But EVMs as a technology, it's very foolproof, everything. I think by and large you are very confident and very enthusiastic. Same enthusiasm should be maintained. So already 2 mock interviews. So you have still some more time. 6th, when is your
22nd April.
22nd April. So a few mock interviews. I think we should take you through the. This is the first interview.
Second, like UPSC, in UPSC it is my second, sir.
UPSC first. When did you civils? When was your this thing? Okay, UPSC or civils second?
CSC,
So still second. So when was your last interview?
In CSE 2019, that was.
19. Okay. So you missed the cutoff narrowly or
No, sir, I lost an interview. I got 160 then.
160.
160.
Okay. And then how was the score in Anthro?
Sir, Anthro I got 251 then. Today I was lacking a lot on anthropology, sir.
This year?
No, like in the mock interview today I was lacking a lot on anthropology.
No, don't. Mock is a mock, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, it's only to correct all your things.
Yes.
So it's not as if it's final interview is the final thing. What the board feels there, it's important. So never feel disheartened. Whatever. So we are there to tone up your actually performance. The real interview. So by and large, you already have your UPSC experience. And then Anthro, any optional 250 and above is good. Only thing is that you should balance your score in other subjects, especially essay. It will be a game changer. Okay. If you,
Yes,
how
sir.
was your essay this time?
Sir, I think I'm thinking it went fine, sir, in essay.
Then your performance in optional is okay. this time?
Except like paper 1 was, I didn't do it as expected, but paper 2 was very good, sir.
And general studies?
General studies, sir, in paper 3, I was little lacking, like the last 2 questions I didn't give adequate time.
Okay. So, but by and large, your general performance has been good when compared to last time.
I'm hoping, sir, but UPSC is so unpredictable, you can't say anything.
So, have you made any peer groups of your friends through WhatsApp and all for the interview?
Yes, sir, like I have like 2-3 friends, we are collaborating on Telegram.
Yeah, that's good. Whatever it is, we maintain that. So, are they having interview before you or after you?
Most of them are having in May, sir, the end of May.
Okay. So, you are the first actually.
Yes, sir.
So, first person. Anyway, I think your general performance is good. Keep it up and then be confident. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All the best.
Yes, thank you, sir. Sir, I had one doubt. So, in case the EVMs are like, if there's booth capture and all, what are the immediate legal mechanisms we can do?
So immediately what a report will see, ultimately the authority, it's actually authority. So from starting with the district election authorities, the district collector, next we have the returning officer of the constituency.
Okay, sir.
At the polling booth, the authority is the presiding officer.
Yes, sir.
So we have what is called the presiding officer's diary. So whatever he writes, it is a final report. So now in the presence of the agents, polling agents of different parties, the booth capturing, so he will write his report saying that so and so miscreants have come, they have captured, they have pushed the police people, they have threatened with arms and all. They'll write, so they narrate actually the entire story, and they write actually all the details, and it is called actually electoral offence. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So those taking action by police and all, it is a different aspect of it. So immediately when once so then they will ask for a repoll. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So they will ask for a repoll. In fact, in Bihar, in Aurangabad, I ordered 70 repolls in a particular constituency, 70.
Yes, sir.
So it happens because actually so longer police could not control, DM could not control. That was actually that long, I think 2005. But the Nitish era, it is very good. Very recently I went to Siwan, so that it's fine. So situation is improved. Bihar actually it's now a controlled state. So now and the ECA is also very strict. It's very difficult to capture because it's shoot and sight orders now.
Okay.
So 2000 now it is shoot and sight. If anybody tries, they're killed directly.
Okay.
So it's very difficult. So some actually it is called actually cycling actually is there. Cycling means actually election, the malpractice is cycling. So one fellow goes there, he will not push it, but he will actually manage with the concerned presiding officer.
Yes, sir.
Then it will show that actually it is voted, okay. But again, they should have managed the polling agent of that party also. So it's a very difficult process. They do it and then they try to have actually a rigging actually. So there are many malpractice which are going on. So of course, money, the influence of money, Tamil Nadu had gone there. There is no other state in the country which spends so much money, more than Andhra and Telangana. Telangana and Andhra also, they are notorious for spending money. But Tamil Nadu is number one in the country. They spend so much. So there are so many electoral malpractice which are there. But by and large, there are three major, kindly remember, in fact, it's very important. Three major institutions today, in spite of all the imperfections, India as a democracy is more vibrant than American democracy. Three institutions. One is,
Election Commission of India.
second is,
Lokpal.
no, Supreme Court, it's part of Supreme, why? So why?
It gives neutrality in.
No, the thing is that the Supreme Court is supreme, not because it is not because it does not commit mistakes, because its orders are final.
Fine.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
And what is the third institution?
I am not able to recollect the third institution.
No, it's very, very important now. Election Commission, everybody believes, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Then your own UPSC say.
Yes, sir. I was just recollecting the constitutional bodies.
UPSC, can anybody say that he's selected because he's rigged?
I was just
because
recollecting
of
the
UPSC, we are here, he is here, we are here.
Yes, sir. Certainly,
Okay,
certainly.
just remember that.
Certainly, sir.
So no, so करे यहाँ पर वो क्या तो manage कर रहा है. That's so UPSC is very important. 3 institutes, because of that nobody can point a pin. They can okay, state election commission, there's lot of allegations and all, but UPSC no.
Yes, sir.
Whatever they say, it is final. Finish, that's all. Because UPSC, your Election Commission of India and Supreme Court, there are 3 institutions which are really safeguarding our technology. Everybody, if actually election result, वहाँ पर देख लेना अभी उस वहाँ पर. It is there, the trends will be coming, CM will go and give his resignation to the governor. And in fact, it's a very good sociological phenomenon which is studied. Actually, last 2 years ago when you had the US election, then what did Trump do? Try to actually capture capital, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So the philosophy of American democracy has been buried, isn't it? That fellow says that it is rigged. So they try to capture the parliament of US. So what is is it actually now? So are they not hypocritical, or they are hypocrites, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Certainly.
So till the last also said, I will not give power, I will not arrogate power. So the thing is that so the entire philosophy annulled. So she says, okay, now you can see her philosophy in US straight away. The great political scientist of modern era. Heard about her, isn't it? No, you should, because all are linked. It's a great actually anthropological study, sociological study, political science study,
Yes.
philosophical study. So everybody can preach anything, but implementing is difficult. Okay,
True,
it's
sir.
very important.
Yes, sir.
The last three institutions.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Quickly, I'll leave it because it's already getting late. So you have a warm smile.
Thank you, sir.
Today, I mean, among all the candidates who have come today, I felt it's very good. But eye contact, you're turning in the chair, like you're turning in the chair and you are just facing the person. See, there is one thing, maybe you're not giving eye contact, that's a different thing. You are even turning in the chair and looking completely the person who is asking you questions.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
It's not correct, right? At least once in a while, try to maintain eye contact.
Sure,
It's
sir.
a panel, right? So you have to interact with the panel as much as you interact with the person also. You know, it's not practical to constantly keep nodding your head here and there, but at least wherever there is an opportunity, make use of it.
Sure, sir.
Then what I felt is like you need more specificity, and I also felt little more presence of mind. I felt Akshay, because see, let's say question like sir asked a question on brain drain. You said to an extent, there is a lot of. Don't you think both of to an extent there is a lot of?
Yes, sir.
Those kind of sentence framing will come only when you are not fully present. You should be more conscious.
Okay, sir.
Is what I felt. Then certain then in brain drain you started talking about ease of doing business, infrastructure. It felt more like a mains answer. Come out of that mains hangover. This is a personality test. We're testing your personality. Come up with your opinions. Come up with more practical day-to-day things which you see. So answers will sound more relevant.
Yes,
And again sentence like GST unified the whole country. Did GST unify the whole country? It's a taxation system, right? And why you said GST unified the whole country? Then you said mother, I got to know about the technical aspects of that. These are all loose words.
Okay.
When you take the video, just analyze it properly.
Sure, sir.
There should be energy in every single sentence that come out of us. It's also not about over preparedness. It's being more conscious, more present, taking interest seriously, and so that the same level of energy has to be sustained right from the beginning of the interview till the end. And regarding my anthropology,
Yes.
not happy. How many times you have written with anthropology?
3, sir.
Huh?
3.
3 times.
Yeah.
Then are we still evolving is a decent answer. Macro evolution also is a decent answer. After that, somehow postmodernism part you have explained it well, but that power knowledge correlation you did not explain it well. See, power knowledge correlation is like this. People who are in power, they are also creating the knowledge. It's not just manipulating the knowledge. So they are the creators of the knowledge. That's what postmodernism questions, right?
Okay.
Agency versus structure debate is about individual agency versus social structure. I want you to analyze, to go to that depth. Hijab is about an individual called as a female Muslim girl, and social structure is religion, a patriarchal society, this is social structure. So debate, who should prevail? Individual should prevail
Okay, sir.
or social structure should prevail.
Got it.
So it's an important
Yeah.
dynamic in anthropology.
I didn't understand that agency and social structure, but yeah, right now I got it. Sir.
And developmental anthropology also, you have said it wrong. Developmental anthropology in the context of in the post Second World War scenario, how third world countries started to be funded, by developed nations. Some people call it extension of the colonialism. Read about it, developmental anthropology. Your answer is not correct, and there you have even started. You became so confident that you started committing mistakes. Like when I asked some criticism, then on it you said, like I felt like you are faking the answer.
Yes, sir. In
Work on it.
anthropology, you have to improve a lot.
Folk taxonomy. Of course, they may not ask question like folk taxonomy, but I just want to test because I think it's your last final attempt also.
No,
Right?
sir, fifth attempt.
You have one more
One
attempt.
more.
So be a little more conscious. So racism you have in the syllabus, isn't it? Scientific racism, social Darwinism. It is nothing but racism means using race concept, though it's a pseudo-scientific concept, claiming it as a scientific concept. That is racism. Means using the concept of race to suppress people or to marginalize people is the concept of racism.
Okay.
Read about scientific racism because it's very much in the syllabus. Social Darwinism. Then defense budget question, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to express your personality. You just spoke about the positive aspect of it.
Yeah.
But as a civil servant, you are not applying for any military bureaucracy, right? You want to become a civil servant. Should have come up the budgets for health, education. When I started questioning, probing you a little further, then you opened up.
Okay.
Should not be like that.
Yes.
You should have taken that. You should have been proactive. You should have come out on your own.
Okay, sir.
When should a businessman retire? It's not a serious question. It's just just to lighten up the mood. That you took it so seriously, and you should have answered it at least better. I did not feel the answer as convincing. You should have told, sir, it's not. There is no one best way of retiring. Everybody based on their temperament, their energies, their ambitions. They could retire at their own comfort.
Yes, sir.
I did not see that. And here, why Sagarmala has come when I'm talking about indigenous warships, nuclear submarines, aircraft. So don't tell what you know. Answer the question in a relevant way.
Yes, sir.
You got it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Sagarmala, is it in any way related to this?
like if we have.
Absolutely no. Sagarmala is a developmental program.
Yes, sir.
What we are talking about, strategic technologies in the defense sector.
Sure.
Ah.
Yes, sir.
And layman's term, I want you to talk about ocean engineering. You said metacentric, hydrodynamic, hydrostatic, and I'm trying to probe you further, and suddenly I've realized that you are talking about naval architecture, not ocean engineering. You literally got so much confused there.
So it's very interrelated that.
You should have told it right in the beginning itself, sir. It's not possible to strictly separate ocean engineering and naval architecture. Both are very much interdisciplinary. I'll try to explain it in one whole.
Sure.
See, you should be in a position to explain that even a school children must be in a position to understand what you are talking.
Yes.
It's your subject, something which you read for 4 years.
Yes.
And if somebody asks you what is that, if you can't explain it in a simple language, no.
True, sir.
I think you should take interview more seriously. I think you are still in that chill mode. No, you have to write down do not give too many mocks also, and unnecessarily take too many advisors, too many sessions. That's also not warranted.
Yes, sir.
Pace your mock interviews properly, like 4-5 days one mock interview. Write down all the questions asked in every mock interview. Write what you have told. Evaluate your answer. Reflect upon your answer.
True, sir.
That superficiality will gradually come out, and you'll be the depth will automatically come into your answers.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay, definitely. As you're attempting, coming for the interview for the second time, they would expect a lot of improvement from you.
Yeah.
So work on it seriously.
Sure,
Okay.
sir. Sure.
And if you need any support regarding anthropology, you can take my number from director.
Okay,
He'll
sir.
give you. Okay.
Sure.
So
Yes,
all the
sir.
very best.
Thanks a lot, sir.
And Arsha, you once again you have very good chances of getting succeed in this attempt. You have very good voice, very good smiling face, very good convincing presentable thing you have. But you should also be prepared with few basic things what Vivek have said. So those basic things. I have a simple question of difference between ocean engineering and marine engineering. It is what he's asking about layman terms. So these are the basic terms which are on your DAF to be cleared.
Okay, sir. Sure.
So that you need to take an advantage of your presentable skills. So and one more, even now you are turning complete body towards me, so that
Yes,
has
sir.
to be controlled. And also sometimes you pinching your nails,
that fidgeting na, like it's he's doing it 3-4 times నేను అబ్జర్వ్
I
చేశాను.
think this is my first offline mock, so I'm not
that
very.
has to be just
I
take
keep
care
my
of.
hands like this.
No, that be comfortable. Your hand movements are permitted to some extent, not
Okay.
completely stubborn to this. And these are the things, and also just focus on mainly anthropology, because he's an expert. Easily you are able to assess yourself that you are
yes,
weak,
Yes, sir. Yes.
because you are in the attempt of 5th attempt, right?
Yes, sir.
So the panel expects more from you,
Sure.
unless the freshers, they expect a lot from you. So they does not also expect you to tell, sorry sir, I'll again check back. You are not a fresher first attempt or second attempt. You are in the 5th attempt.
Sure,
So
sir.
they expect from IIT Kharagpur. So they expect a little bit more. So just prepare. Definitely you'll get through.
Okay.
And the next week you'll have the other senior officers to take them on. Prepare, take this, we'll also give you the recording and you can have that.
Okay,
Your
sir.
biggest asset is your composure. You are not at all stressed. You are very comfortable. But work on your preparedness aspect. It's something very important. I am sure you will do it very well.
Okay, sir.
All the best, okay?
Same thing. Some of the very means we don't expect too deep answers especially in your subject. You need to brush up some easy to understand concept. Religion, Karl Marx, you did not answer it satisfactorily. It's very easy, everybody knows about it. And you went on individual level, but he has not talked about the individual. The society is intoxicated with religion.
Yes, sir.
You should have told about conflict, like class conflict. Upper class people have created religion to take control over lower class. You should have told it that way. Like if you are not confident about something better, you should have said, I'm not aware. But there you actually told a wrong answer.
Okay, sir. Sure. I'll keep this in mind.
You study about this religion in anthropology, no?
Yes, sir. We study.
You studied Durkheim.
Yes, sir.
So I initially expected Durkheim, but when you were not able to say, I moved to Marx.
I'm very poor, I think, in anthropology. I'll work on it.
Revise. The questions which will be asked will be only 50% of what they have asked. But the last year, like, there are good many questions in anthropology. That's the reason I just want to give a little more emphasis on anthropology.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Like and subscribe Eagle Media Works.